This is the first of two videos that explains the development of a cone and a cylinder intersection. You can see that I've already pre-drawn a lot of the things. In the top view here, you can see that the solid or visible lines are basically the outline of the object. It has a hidden line, and that simply is the bottom of the cone behind the cylinder. Now if we go to the front view, you can see a hidden line as well. However, this represents something different. You can think of this as a continuation of the true length line that runs down the right side here. You may remember when we developed a cone in earlier lessons that from the perspective of the viewer, the true length line of a cone is the far left and the far right of the cone. Okay, now you can also see a wheel, and this looks similar to what we've done before. It's divided into 12 equal sections. It's numbered. I've also pre-colored some of the spokes on the wheel. You'll see later on in the video as it progresses why I color-coded the wheel the way I did. But what I want to do to start off with is just simply copy that wheel up to the top view. Okay, so I'll use the midpoint on my cylinder as my base point. Then I'll find the midpoint in the top view as well. Okay, then I place that. I want to rotate it 90 degrees. So I will just highlight the object, use the center point as the base point, and enter 90 degrees. Now you can see that point 1, which was on top, is now pointing to the left. Okay, so now I've done that. I want to project a line from point 1 on the bottom wheel over to the cone, and where that intersects the true length line, I want to draw a line straight up through the top view, and from point 1 on the upper wheel, I want to draw a line straight across, and at that point I want to place a point at the intersection point. So I just simply type in point and place my point there. Now if your point isn't displaying properly, just simply type in DDP type and check your point style settings. Okay, so I also want to place that same point down in the front view, and we're actually doing two things at once. But what we're doing right now is actually finding the intersection point, points plural, where the cylinder goes into the cone. So we are able to do both because of the wheel and our projections. Since the spoke here for point 1 is magenta, I will make that point magenta as well. And then once I've done that, I want to erase my construction lines. And when you get ready to turn your work in, it would be preferable if you leave your points and probably erase your construction lines. But whatever you feel most comfortable with, but remember to show as much work as you can. Okay, so now we'll work on point 2, and I want to go through pretty much the same process. I do want to do a couple of little things different. For example, I want to draw this from point 12, and of course if I project to the left, you can see that that line passes through point 2 as well. And I will do the same thing with point 8, and you can see that all of those points are green. Okay, but I'll work on 2 and 12 first. So where 2 and 12 intersects the true length line of the cone in the front view, I'll project it up, and I want to draw lines to the left from points 2 and 12 on the upper wheel. Now from the center point of the cone, I want to make the line, the vertical line running through the screen here, tangent to a circle from the center point of the cone. Alright, now that I've done that, I've created two new intersection points here and here. So again, I'll place points at both of those intersections, and in this case we're working with green, so I'll make my points green, and I'll copy that. Now we'll draw a line down through the green points, projecting back to the front view. Okay, and remember Remember, we're working on 2 and 12, so that line passes across and intersects the vertical line I just drew. Okay, so I want to copy one of those green points down to my front view. Okay, now don't erase anything yet. We still have 6 and 8, and we'll do the same thing. I'll draw a line straight up from where it hits the true length, and you can tell that if I extend the lines I drew from points 2 and 12 in that view, they extend to points 6 and 8. So I can use the same horizontal lines here, and this is the vertical line I just drew. So again, I need to draw a circle that is tangent to that line. And again, I created 2 new intersection points. So I'll place a point there and a point there, and again I will draw a line straight down. Okay, and I will just copy this green point that's already down here, and we were working on 6 and 8, and there's the vertical line I just drew, so I'll place that green point at that intersection. Okay, and then I'll erase my construction lines, and I will repeat this process again. So I've done 2, 12, 6, and 8. Now let's do 3, 5, 11, and 9. So I'll draw my horizontal from 3 and 11 first. Then I'll find 3 and 11 in the upper wheel, project the lines to the left. Again, I'll draw a circle with that, use that line as a tangent, and type in point, and I'll put points of those intersections. Okay, now again I'll draw a line back through the yellow points I just made, back down over my front view. Not quite straight. Okay, it comes from 3 and 11 here, so I'll just copy a point down to that intersection. Alright, and now we'll work on the other yellow points, which are 5 and 9. And again, if I extend these yellow lines here that I already drew, they go back to the other yellow points, so I can use those same horizontal lines. I just need to find my vertical line I just drew and make a circle tangent to that line, using the center of the cone as my center point. And I will copy over points to those 2 intersections. Okay, and I need to draw my vertical line down through the yellow points. Now you may not, when you do this, you may not want to bite off quite so many steps. You may feel comfortable with it, but you can see how quickly this drawing could get cluttered, and last thing you want to do is get 100 lines or so and then realize that you're totally lost and have to go back and start over. So now we'll do the red. Project that up to the top view, and the red line lines. Of course,